You tell yourself you're lazy, that you just don't have discipline, that something is wrong with you. But there's a strange pattern you can't ignore. You think about doing the thing. You even plan it. Sometimes you start, and then you stop. Not because you can't, but because something in you quietly pulls away. And if you're honest, it's not the work you're avoiding. It's what happens when you're finally seen doing it. Visual. Person sitting alone in a dim room, phone in hand. You open your laptop. You're ready to begin. But suddenly, your mind starts drifting. You check your phone. You rearrange your desk. You tell yourself you'll start in 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes quietly turn into hours. This isn't just procrastination, because when no one is watching, when the stakes feel low, you can actually focus. You can work for hours. You can think clearly. But the moment something becomes real, the moment it could be judged, shared, seen, you slow down, or you disappear. Visual. Cursor blinking on an empty document. You might notice it in small moments. Not posting something you created, not speaking up in a conversation, not applying for something you're qualified for. You tell yourself you're not ready yet. But ready for what? Because deep down, you already know what to do. This pattern doesn't just affect your productivity, it shapes your identity. You start seeing yourself as inconsistent, unreliable, potential, but no follow-through. And over time, you begin to believe that story. But here's the part that usually gets missed. This isn't about laziness, it's about exposure. Visual. Person standing in a spotlight while surroundings fade into darkness. Being seen changes everything. Because once you're seen, you can be evaluated. And once you're evaluated, you can be rejected. Or worse, you can be defined. Your brain doesn't treat visibility as neutral. It treats it as risk. And that changes how you behave. But this didn't come from nowhere. At some point, your brain learned something important. That being fully seen wasn't always safe. Maybe it was subtle. You were praised when you performed well, but ignored when you didn't. Maybe you were judged too quickly, misunderstood, or compared. So your brain adapted. It learned to associate visibility with pressure, with expectation, with emotional exposure. And now, even when the environment is safe, your brain still reacts as if it isn't. Visual. Child sitting quietly while others talk around them. This is where the reframe begins. You're not broken. You adapted. Avoiding visibility isn't weakness. It's protection. Your brain is trying to keep you from something it once believed was painful. And it's doing that by pulling you away from moments where you could be fully seen. Even if those moments are exactly what would move your life forward. That's the contradiction. The same thing that could help you grow feels like the thing you should avoid, so you stay in the middle, not failing, but not fully showing up either. Visual. Person walking halfway into light, then stepping back. To understand this deeper, you need to see what's happening inside your brain. Because this isn't just emotional, it's neurological. Your brain is constantly scanning for threats. Not just physical threats, but social ones. Rejection, judgment, embarrassment. These activate similar neural pathways as physical danger, especially in a region called the amygdala. Think of it like an alarm system. Its job is simple: detect risk, then react fast. Now here's where it gets interesting. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and decision-making, wants you to act. It sees the opportunity. It understands the logic. But your amygdala doesn't care about logic. It cares about safety. So when something might expose you, the alarm system activates. Not loudly, quietly. It doesn't say danger. It says, maybe later. Not today. You're not ready yet. Visual, two paths, one bright but narrow, one dark but comfortable. This creates an internal conflict. One part of you wants to move forward, another part pulls you back. And because the fear isn't obvious, you label it as laziness, but it's not laziness. It's avoidance driven by perceived social risk. There's a simple mental model for this. Think of your behavior like a dimmer switch, not an on-off button. When visibility is low, your energy is high. When visibility increases, your energy drops. Not because you're incapable, but because your brain is reallocating resources toward protection, toward monitoring how you might be perceived, and that consumes energy, a lot of it. Visual. Brain lighting up different areas as visibility increases. So what do you actually do with this? Not quick fixes, not forcing discipline, but something deeper. Something that works with your brain, not against it. The first step is controlled exposure, not full visibility. Not all at once, just enough to signal safety. Because your brain learns through repetition. If you only show up in high-pressure moments, your brain associates visibility with stress. But if you create small, low-risk moments of being seen, you start rewriting that association. For example, instead of posting something perfect, share something unfinished. Not to impress, just to exist publicly. Your brain registers that nothing bad happened, and slowly the alarm softens. Visual. Small ripple in water expanding outward. The second step is separating action from identity. Right now, being seen feels like being judged as a person. But that's not accurate. It's just one action being observed. Your brain merges the two because of past experiences. So you need to create distance. When you do something, label it as behavior, not identity. Not, this is who I am, but this is something I tried. This reduces the emotional weight. Because your brain no longer sees visibility as a full exposure of self. Just a moment. A snapshot. Visual. Sticky note with "this is just one moment" written. The third step is understanding the illusion of constant evaluation. Your brain overestimates how much others are watching. This is called the spotlight effect. You feel like everyone notices everything you do. But in reality, most people are too focused on themselves. When you internalize this, the perceived risk of being seen decreases. For example, think about the last time someone made a small mistake in public. You probably forgot it quickly. But your brain assumes others won't forget yours. That assumption isn't reality, it's bias. And once you see it, it loses power. Visual, crowd walking, each person absorbed in their own world.